The Jester is from 2023 and is directed by Colin, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, directed by Colin Krawchuk? Sorry, Colin. Writers are also Colin and Michael Sheffield. The movie stars Michael Sheffield as the Jester. He also plays Liam. Lelia Symington, I am sucking at names today, I'm so sorry, but she plays Emma. And Delaney White plays Jocelyn. Along with Matt Servito, he plays John. This movie to me pretty much sums up a maybe emotion, or as in the film, someone says he's an illness. But the Jester is a evil entity that stalks people until they finally opt out. So I will go over the film, and I will say there will be spoilers because I'm talking about from the beginning to end. We're going through the whole thing, and I will give you my thoughts on it at the end. I will say really quick, I started watching this, I'm like, this looks so familiar, but I don't feel like I've seen this movie before. But I have realized that Jester was actually a short on YouTube that I watched, also by the same people who made the film. Alright, so let's talk about the movie and how it begins, and I will cut through some parts in the center of the film because I felt like it dragged on a little bit. So instead of going step by step, I'm going to give you the gist of that. So yes, 100% spoilers for this video for the I'm going back in time, for the 2023 movie, The Jester. The first shot we see is a flyer on a pole that says Halloween Festival, and we see a man walking alone at night. His name is John. We know this because of his name tag. First glimpse of the Jester. He is wearing a bright orange suit. John walks by and he spots a girl peeking from around the corner and then later right in front of him and just disappears. John stops on a bridge and he pulls out this old Polaroid with the name Emma scribbled on the back. He calls someone and we find out later that this is Emma, his daughter. They're both just as shocked that she picked up because they've been estranged for quite some time. After a little bit of a back and forth between John and Emma, John is begging for his daughter to just listen to him. They do not have a close relationship, and eventually Emma just hangs up on him because she's like, I can't believe you're calling me now. What do you want? Hangs up. This is when we see the Jester. I keep trying to say the Jester. Forgive me. I'm going to say Jester somewhere. I'm not going to be able to edit it out. I'm just going to do the best that I can, people. We see the Jester. He walks up to John, and John is just telling him that, I tried. She doesn't want to listen, and he starts tearing up. The Jester starts mocking John's tears. Then the Jester adjusts John's collar. Now we see a noose around his neck. The Jester tightens the noose. The Jester grabs his own tie, which makes the noose even tighter around John's neck. John is now hanging in the air and he's struggling. Once he stops struggling, John floats off the bridge and his body falls to the ground below. The intro shows Jester in his orangesicle suit, top hat, and a walking cane. He just needs a monocle now and he's Mr. Peanut. I really do like how the Jester looks. He has these sharp features, menacing smile, and he's very reminiscent in both appearance and mannerisms and personality. Very reminiscent of the Joker and Arthur Clown, because the Jester does not talk at all, and obviously he looks a little similar to a clown because of the Jester. So there's some clown features in this which could be inspired from many different characters, but what came to mind is, yes, the Joker and Art. It is nowhere near as violent as any of the Terrifier films, so it's nothing really bloody. There is blood in here, but not at all anything at all like any of the scenes in Terrifier. But I do like the Jester's appearance. So we cut to John's burial and we see a stone-faced woman who we learn is Emma, and she's walking away. The last remaining person is Jocelyn, which is John's other daughter. She goes by JC. So JC is greeted by three friends who spot Emma walking away and ask, is that her? And JC says, yes, I'm surprised she actually showed. So we can tell from this brief interaction, the sisters are not close, and I don't think that they were very close ever in their life. When Emma was young, the father, John, abandoned her and her mother to be with Jocelyn's mother, and John had Jocelyn and pretty much had nothing to do with Emma and her mom after that. So there's a lot of hostility going on there. Emma's walking around the cemetery. She's talking with her mom on the phone. She said, yeah, the funeral went okay, not that it really matters. And the mom was like, I just hope you're doing okay. And Emma says, basically whatever. He wasn't there when I needed him. The mom asked if she's going to visit her, and she said, no, I can't. I'm too busy with the tour coming up. See, Emma is a roadie, but she likes to be called a backline technician. I think I'd rather be called roadie. As Emma's talking on the phone with her mom, she looks towards the burial plot, and no one is there except for the Jester, who looks at the casket before doing a happy little jig. Now, for some reason, Emma looks away, but she looks away, and then she looks back at the casket and the jester has disappeared. He's very tricksy like that. As we see Emma walking away, we can see I'm just going to call him Jest. We see Jest is creepily staring at her from a distance. That's a really good shot right there. It does look really creepy. Two men, Paul and Jimmy, show up to tidy up the burial service area. They threaten to call the cops if he doesn't leave. Well, after folding up the chairs, the men take a break. Jimmy grabs an apple and Paul starts to smoke a cigarette when Jest shows up again. So Paul just instructs his partner to call the cops. At this point, Paul looks like he just literally falls down out of nowhere. We find out in a few minutes that his laces are tied together. Oh, Jest, what a trickster. As Jimmy leans down to check on Paul, who has bashed his head in on a tombstone, Just Penguin walks over to Paul to show his coworker the wound on his victim's head. Jimmy starts choking and births an apple, because that's what it looks like, from his mouth, and he dies. So it doesn't matter if you had some sort of like past trauma. If he wants to kill you, he'll kill you. Emma does meet up with JC at a local bar later on the evening, and after a few beers they seem to be getting along pretty well when JC gives Emma the old Polaroid that John had on his body when he offed himself. So this triggers Emma. She gets very defensive and she goes off on her half-sister, telling her how their father abandoned her and her mom, and just to start a new perfect family with JC's mom and her. And she feels like she was robbed of the father-daughter relationship that Jocelyn and her dad ended up having. So Emma gets mad. She leaves the photo on the table, which JC takes back and picks up. So before leaving, she speaks to the bartender Frank, and they have a little discussion, and this drunk barfly overhears John's name. He said he worked with John at the factory for 15 years. He didn't know him well, but he says John had some secrets and questions whether or not it was really a suicide. So thanks, guy. You know nothing about my dad, but you're gonna just throw out all these conspiracies. I appreciate it. On her way back from the bar, Emma's walking on the streets and she runs into Jest on the sidewalk, and he wants to play a card trick. After a few moments, Emma is kind of freaked out, so she takes refuge in this small convenience store until the jester goes away. The next several chapters of this film kind of drag on, so I'm going to be moving us along quickly. It's Halloween, and there are these two boys that are out trick-or-treating, and one does look kind of similar to Art. I'm not saying that it's supposed to be Art, but it is kind of funny because the one boy who is dressed as a clown tells the other kid, the older kid, it just says one piece. So you're just supposed to take one piece from the bowl that they left out for trick-or-treaters. And of course the greedy kid just grabs a bunch. I will say that the jester teaches the greedy boy a lesson. And I really love this part. I love the way it's filmed. That boy was greedy. JC is home alone when she decides to do drugs. I'm glad her nifty little lighter had that symbol on it so I know what she's smoking.
Smokers are jokers!
I don't know, I just think it's funny when they do that in movies. When she's sitting there, she sees the silhouette of a man outside of her window. But she doesn't bother to investigate because her friends show up. So she looks out the door after she lets in her 3 friends, and she doesn't see anybody. So they're talking back and forth, and Alexis asks JC if she's going to this Halloween festival because her dad always took her. And JC's like, nah, I don't think I'm going to go. She kind of mentions how it still feels like her dad is still here. Maddie's like, well, that's nice. That's really comforting. Jocelyn's like, well, it's not really a comforting feeling. So I don't know if this guy said this as a way to make her feel better, but Liam says basically he doesn't believe anything happens when we die. There's no ghosts, there's no spirits, we're dead and that's it. So considering the fact that her father just passed away, JC gets a little upset. She said, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom, or I'll be back in a minute. She stops in this room, and I'm not sure if it's her dad's room or her room, but she stops in this bedroom and she looks at this old photo of her as a child and her dad sitting on this chair. She sits on the bed, and we can see that there is someone sitting in the chair behind her. When she looks back at the photo, the people have disappeared, so it's just this photo of a chair, and she can see in the glasses reflection somebody sitting in the chair behind her. I'd be freaking out. But she chalks it up to, oh, I'm just dreaming, I'm just daydreaming, I'm just seeing things, it's not really there. So she decides it's best for her to get out of the house, so she's going to go with her friends to the Halloween festival. So apparently Emma thought it was a great idea to do some nighttime drunk walking, drinking out of this big old liquor bottle when she runs into the Jest again.
Oh, look. It's the Halloween asshole. Okay, is that it? We're done.
She becomes agitated with the Jester and pushes him, causing her glass ball to fall and shatter. Jester picks up a shard of glass and slices his throat open, splattering blood all over Emma. So she's thinking, oh my god, he's dead. And then he just kind of floats straight back up, probably thinking, oh my god, he's alive. So she runs back to that convenience store, and the clerk thinks that her bloody attire is a Halloween costume and her story is either a prank or she's just drunk. So at the festival, JC confides to Maddie that she can't keep her own family. Her mom died, her dad opted out, and even her own sister wants nothing to do with her. So she's kind of a mess right now. So back to Emma, she cleaned up in the restroom of the convenience store. The cops are now questioning her sobriety and her sanity when the Jester actually walks in the store. So I thought that was pretty cool. I thought this was going to be like, oh, nobody can see him except at certain times, but you have 4 people. You have her, Emma, the convenience store clerk, and the 2 cops that can see this Jester walking around this bright orange costume. So the cops try to stop the Jester to talk to him, and of course he's going to do a little parlor trick first. He pulls out handcuffs and puts his own hands in there. Oh, it's locked. Thing. Oh, and it's gone. And it turns out that now the 2 cops are handcuffed to each other. The best part.
You'll love this next part.
The Jester comes up, takes off his top hat, puts it over the head of one of the cops, and when he pulls the hat back up, the cop's head is gone. Like, it's not a bloody mess, it's just gone. Well, he's not dead, his head's just gone. So while this is going on, the clerk runs out. Emma, of course, slips and falls and ends up unconscious, because that's what a girl does in a movie.
You're a woman, you're weak, and you can't.
Now the cop with the head, he gets his key and he releases himself from the cuffs. Empty that clip. You can't catch them all, which it probably wouldn't do anything to him anyway, but still. Emma wakes up and she runs out of the store as the Jester slowly follows. Now back at the festival, a lot of back and forth here. Maddie and Alexis are in line at a concession stand while a very depressed JC sits on the bench with Liam. JC spots her father across the way, so she gets up to see him closer to get a better look. At this point, the Jester sits down across from Liam and plays the find the item under the cup game. So we're going back and forth between JC looking at her dad and Liam and the Jester. So I'm just going to do one block at a time instead of going back and forth.
Dad?
Excuse me, evil witch. Have you seen my daughter Jocelyn?
Don't worry, Daddy. It's me. I'm right here.
Oh my god.
Daddy, don't go! Daddy! Daddy, come back! Come back!
And back to Liam. The Jester is doing the cup game. He lifts up the cup and a mouthful of bloody teeth are revealed. And we cut back to Liam. His mouth is full of blood. Oh, the next cup, he lifts it up. Nothing. Oh, but the Jester looks at it. Tap, tap. 2 eyeballs come out. And so Liam turns around. He's toothless and blind. And he walks towards Maddie and grabs her and just falls on top of her as Maddie's struggling. Now, all the while, JC is, busy with this father-daughter thing she has going on in her head that she's seeing. Maddie and Alexis try carrying Liam. Everybody just kind of scattered. Everybody else at the festival, I guess, is just running away at this point. So they drop Liam. And then Alexis goes up and yells at JC, like, we gotta go, what's going on? The Jester comes up behind her and he snaps her knee with his cane. He then shushes Madison, who I guess she chokes out. Back to Emma, who must have been running for quite some time. She ends up to where we began this story with John, and we saw the flyer on the pole. The flyer on the pole now just flies off. So Emma finally stops to get a breather, and she gets a call from her mom.
Hi, sweetie. Is my little girl afraid of the Jester?
What?
But soon we realize,
Get away from her! That's not mommy!
but rather the Jester communicating as mom, which is a pretty funny scene.
It's like I always say, a little more smiling goes a long, long way.
What the fuck do you want?
Now that's no way to talk to your mother.
A few moments later.
So she's ending up in the same position as her dad. She's not willingly doing this, but she has a noose around her neck. She's hovering up in the air, goes off to the side of the bridge and falls to the ground. But when she hits the ground, it's actually a graveyard. Now we go through some fever dreams and picturing a young girl with John. So there's a lot of back and forth. Well, let's cut to the chase here. She's at a point where she's like, this is not real. This is fake. When she's talking to JC. In her mind, or in this scenario, her dead father and JC is both telling her to kill herself. She's holding a knife that her quote-unquote dad gave her. So she's like, "You're not real." And she stabs JC in the stomach, only to be hit back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. To see that she actually did stab her sister. Emma begs for Jocelyn to live, says, you know, how sorry she is.
Stay away from her!
Kiss! I know exactly what you are. You're a sickness. Do what you want to me, but you stay the fuck away from her.
So we see Emma screaming for help over an unconscious JC. Now we are back at the real cemetery after some time, and Emma's talking on the phone with her mom, says she's not doing the roadie thing anymore, and that she'll be out there to visit her mom sometime soon. Oh, and that she's also going to visit JC. Now, once she's off the phone with her mom, she speaks to her dead dad at his gravestone. She says that he made the choices that he made, and it was not her fault, and she needs to stop putting that burden on herself.
And the sickness that was in you, it's in me.
But she's going to not let it consume her. So Emma walks into the bar and reaches the table with Alexis, Maddie, and JC. And that's the ending. I noticed there was no Liam. The man's blind now. Maybe he survived, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But anyway, we see the girls there. All right, so this is my little review here. There are some pros and cons in this film to me. Now the cons, some scenes felt very dragged out. And I also feel like there needs to be more character building. And the story and the characters are unique enough. I just wish it delved deeper into the lore. Now, some mystery is good. I don't think you should give everything away, but I am curious as to the hows and whys of the Jester. The writing and some of the acting left something to be desired, but you know, that's not an end-all be-all. There's a lot of movies that I watch that the acting isn't all that great, but I still like it. I wish there was more. Now the pros, I did love Jester's appearance. I did like it. I like the bright colors. I liked his face. It looks just like a man wearing a mask, by the way. It doesn't look like a prosthetic like, as I mentioned, Art the Clown. This looks like a guy is just wearing a mask. Now, although the Jester is some sort of evil entity, I presume, he is also kind of whimsical and fun, again, kind of like Art the Clown. I'm going to say this really quick. I don't think that this was a ripoff of any of the Terrifier films. Now, there was a movie from 2023 called Diced. To me, that was a ripoff of Terrifier. Not to put anybody down, but yeah, that was a ripoff of Terrifier. I really enjoyed The Jester so much more. The cinematography was really pretty good. There were a lot of scenes I really enjoyed. Like the scene where the Jester, who hasn't spoken a word throughout the film, he communicates through a phone. Now, the idea of the Jester was really interesting. It could be a part of a longer series. If we were to see illnesses or emotions or trauma as physical beings, entities, I think that is interesting. I had fun watching it.
Boo!
I am interested in learning more about it. I want more of a backstory. I want more of a reasoning as to why. So if they made a Jester 2, I would watch it. I think it definitely could be improved on. But you know what? If you have about an hour and a half, right now it's for free on Tubi. That can always change, so check it out before you get too excited. It might not be available by the time you watch this or in your area. It's worth the watch. I thought it was fun. Alright, so thank you guys. This movie actually won in a YouTube poll that I put up on my channel in my community tab, which I update daily, so please check it out. And I intend on doing more of these polls on what movies I should review in the future, just to get some help out from you guys. Let me know what you want to see. So thank you for everyone who voted, and I really appreciate you watching this video up to this point. It means a lot to me. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And I hate to say that because it sounds like a typical YouTuber thing to say, and that sounds so gross to me. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it if you could do that for me. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a good day. Bye.